Welcome to the Awakened Human Podcast, the place to be for highly progressive yet extremely grounded intuitive guidance, energetic support, metaphysical tools, and higher consciousness for highly successful, ambitious, soul-centered visionaries and leaders like you who want to make a global impact and achieve your highest fulfillment by aligning with your soul's true divine agenda and your role in God's plan of lighted creation, and by utilizing your divine gifts, talents, and abilities from the higher realms. We do this by working with the non-physical realms of higher guidance, energy, intuition, and powerful metaphysical tools for healing and transformation. We understand that the real change and transformation that's being called for on planet Earth and in our own lives and our own businesses doesn't come from outside of us, but rather from within. And that the change that we desire to experience in our lives and in our world requires us to change from the inside. I'm your host, Lori Ann Spagna. I'm a best-selling author, spiritual catalyst, intuitive, energy worker, ascension guide, multidimensional channel, animal communicator, visionary, lightworker, and luminary. I have dedicated my entire professional life to helping thousands and thousands of humans and animals all over the world in service and contribution to the light, which is the expansion, the upliftment, the evolution of humanity, to awaken, to uplift, and to align with our true divine source, which exists within each and every one of us. It is my passion, joy, and purpose to share this information, energy, and consciousness with you. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing time with me. Let's get started.
Well, hello, all of you magnificent beings out there. It's so wonderful to be with you here today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so magnificent. So today I would like to chat with you about something that may seem a little bit out there for some of you, depending on how into the woo-woo you are. And for those of you who have been with me for a long time, you've heard me talk about this before, but this is going to be all new. We're going to be talking about the 888 Lionsgate. We're going to be talking about portals and Stargates, and we're going to be talking about the Year of the Dragon, which we are in, started in February. So that's what we're going to get into today, but I just want to do a little cautionary note. If you've never heard of this stuff, if it sounds a little too woo-woo for you, please be open-minded. I get that it's out there. And that's why you're here, right? You wouldn't be listening to me right now if you weren't open-minded. I've had plenty of skeptics and cynics, witch hunters try to kind of catch me and stuff. But look, this is what I'm bringing through. If it serves you, use it for your highest good. If it doesn't, then, and you're going to listen with an open mind and an open heart. Because even if you don't necessarily agree with or believe what I'm about to share, there's real valid information in here that will support and assist you if you allow it to. And if you don't, at least you're being open-minded. At least you're being open-hearted, because that's the way to be in the new paradigm. Right? Skepticism and cynicism are tools of the third dimensional paradigm. They're not tools of the new paradigm. Discernment is a whole other thing, right? Discernment still means you're using your open mind, open heart, willingness to know you don't know what you don't know. And at the same time, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know, right? So discernment helps you with that. So we're going to talk about the Lionsgate portal, the 888 triple Stargate, and the Year of the Dragon. Let me start in reverse with Year of the Dragon. So Year of the Dragon is the Chinese astrology term for the current year that we're in. And while Chinese astrology overall, just like most things that exist in our reality, are creations of consciousness, at the same time, there is, because consciousness creates things and consciousness decides and agrees, and we're all aspects of consciousness. So there's enough people on Earth who agree that Year of the Dragon is real and valid, and so therefore it is. And while you could, as a person, in higher consciousness say, I'm not going to subscribe or buy into that. I'm not going to believe it or give it energy. At the same time, there is real validity to it because enough of the collective of humanity has validated it and bought into it in the realms of consciousness. So from that perspective, Year of the Dragon and everything that, not everything, but so much of what it means overall has real validity. So it's worth a listen. Yeah. So we're starting there. Year of the Dragon, and I am not an expert Chinese astrology person. However, what I do know about it is that it really is about stepping up into a new level of mastery and leadership. And it is about facing fears and transcending those fears. And there's not a human alive on earth that doesn't have some fears to some degree or another. And we don't need to go into all the fears that people have, but sometimes it's even just fear of going in front of a camera, or fear of speaking authentically, or fear of shining your light, or fear of upsetting the apple cart, or fear of pissing your client off or your students off, right? Or fear of upsetting someone, fear of breaking out of your own box, fear of breaking out of your comfort zone, fear of starting a podcast or whatever it is, right? Fear, doubt, hesitation, worry, whatever that might be. So, Year of the Dragon is asking us to elevate, step into a new level of our own self-leadership. At the same time, it's making us look at leadership. We're all looking at world leadership right now. Like, is this really what we call leadership or what, right? Or mastery, right? Mastery. Now, these things go deeper than just these surface level topics, because if you haven't noticed this already, let me bring it to your awareness. People are beginning to manifest in real time. I know I am. That means almost instantaneously in many cases. Whereas in years earlier, the lag time in manifestation, because we were in more density, because we were experiencing the experience of separation, that includes in the experience of time, today, tomorrow, there was more space, right? If you haven't noticed, seems like time feels like it's accelerating, speeding up. The density is being lifted and elevated, and that means manifestation. And if your frequency, your vibration is elevating, if you're a conscious person becoming more and more conscious, and if you do healing work where you're clearing, healing, and resolving unconscious aspects, traumas, etc., false beliefs and belief systems, etc., even if you're just doing mindset work, to some degree, you're elevating in consciousness to whatever degree it is that's you uniquely. That means the density is being removed from your field of energy, and that means you're manifesting faster in more and more real time. That is part of Year of the Dragon. Why? Because your energy and your consciousness are imprinting on the field in very real time, so that you can become more masterful, so that you can see your creation, so you can become conscious of your creation and you as the creator of your experience. That's behooving you to become more conscious about yourself as a creator. You, the creator of your experience, not just through your doing, but also through your thinking and through your perceiving and through your feeling and your emoting. So Year of the Dragon then is asking you to elevate and step into a new level of self-mastery and self-leadership over your own creation. And it's showing you where you're miscreating or where your fears or your unconscious are imprinting. Now, let's pause here for a moment. When you're having experiences in your life that seem borderline insane, like your witness, I hear this all the time from people, like they'll talk about something that happened and they'll be like, it was insane, like crazy. It's because it's in their unconscious. And most of us can refer back to periods since 2020, especially 2020, 2021, where we witnessed or heard about things on the global stage or the world stage, and call it a world stage for a reason, that seemed insane, like crazy, right? that's because the collective unconscious was manifesting, materializing in the physical. And it seems crazy because these are the things stored up in the unconscious. Let me give you a perfect example. And I say unconscious, but I even mean semi-conscious. So the other day I told this story on a recent YouTube video on the same topic area, which, by the way, I will do my best to link it below, to have my podcast gal link this below, because you should watch the YouTube video too for more information on this. Really good stuff. But the other day I was at the bank, I was depositing a check. I was having the thought, I really don't want this check to get stuck. I really don't want this check to get stuck. I really want to make sure I put this check in the right way so that it goes in, so I have no issues, no problems. At the same time, I was thinking, they never get stuck. I don't know why you're having this thought, Lori. Like, I'm having this inner dialogue, right? And so at the same time, like, this back and forth is going on. I put the check in, and within a few seconds, it gets stuck. Because I'm conscious enough, I'm aware. I had that thought, it manifested and materialized instantly. I had the resistance, the struggle back and forth in my own mind. I had a couple of issues with the bank that month anyway, that they were like playing over protection, like overly, overprotecting. It was very annoying. And so I was in a little energetic struggle with that in my own mind about it. Like, this is really annoying, but okay, I'm not going to get entangled with it. But there it was. I did. Manifested it. Now, because I'm a very conscious person, I can trace that. And because I understand Year of the Dragon is asking me to become more consciously aware of what I'm doing with my thoughts and my emotions, so that I become more consciously aware of myself as a creator of my experience, I can see that whole game in real time play out in a very innocuous thing. I'm using this as an example because many of you likely have been experiencing similar kinds of things. And if you're conscious and paying attention, it's like you have a thought or two and then boom, there it is, real time, shows up in your reality. And so this is the primary role of Year of the Dragon. It is designed to help us to become more conscious and more masterful and more authoritative, like more of the authorities in our lives about how we create and what I call miscreate, how we create things that we don't really desire. So that is going on this year with Year of the Dragon. And this is why also a lot of people are finding it very challenging, because your unconscious and semi-conscious and subconscious thoughts and beliefs, etc., are manifesting in real time. And your emotional traumas and triggers are being pushed on because you're being asked to elevate. You're being asked to elevate throughout this year. And Year of the Dragon only started the second week of February of this calendar year. So we have it until the second week of February into the following year, which will then turn to Year of the Snake. So we're learning that as a collective this year and in our individual lives. Now, let's take that, keep that theme where you're basically having to learn how to manifest and create your reality in real time and become very clear, like with precision, about what you're thinking and feeling and doing and believing, etc., perceiving, and what your energy is and what you're emoting, all that stuff, because it's imprinting on your energetic field. In other words, the physical world you exist in. When you combine that now with the fact that we're in an 8 year, okay, so 2024 is an 8 year. 8 is about contraction and expansion. It's also about the infinite you, because it's an infinity symbol, right? Where it just goes on. But it's about really expanding into something greater. But there's contracted states of being that oftentimes ask you to become, through the contraction, more conscious and more masterful. And overall, the 8 is asking you to step into your authority. Who is the authority of your life? You give your power and consent to a false authority, for example, on the world stage, some leader who has no interest in serving humanity or the world in any way, shape, or form other than his own ego, or his egoic structure, or maybe something even worse, maybe he's serving some private, covert agenda. Perhaps, we don't know. We have no idea. Right? Well, some of us do, some of us don't. Or do you want to step into your own mastery and sense of authority and know who your true authority is, which is your connection with your source, right? Which is an infinitely loving source that would really do no harm as we align with it. So that is overall a theme of this calendar year, 2024, which is an 8-year. Now, let's talk about the Lionsgate, and then I'll get into portals and gateways. So Lionsgate is on August 8th. So August 8th is always every year known as the Lionsgate. And those of us who are into the woo-woo, we know this, right? Probably if you've listened to me for a while, you've heard me talk about this before. Every year on the Lionsgate, I do DNA activations, which of course I would love for you to join us for the next DNA activations webinar. And of course you can join, that's on my website at lauriespagna.com under the live events tab. I will ask my podcast assistant to put the link in the show notes as well, so you can register and join us for that. We do DNA activations. Overall, I've been doing DNA activations for over 20 years, but on the Lionsgate in particular, probably for about 15 years now. And we pick that date on purpose. I'll get to that when I get to what is a portal and a gate and a Stargate. But let's just talk about Lionsgate. It's called the Lionsgate because it's the ushering in of the season of Leo. So the Lionsgate officially begins on the date when the Cancerian the astrological clock, so to speak, shifts from Cancerian to Leo. And that typically happens on the date, depending on whether you're looking at Western astrology or Vedic astrology, that will happen right about July 21st, 22nd. And so that's when the Lionsgate begins to open. So the Lionsgate is referring to a period of time when it is the Leo season. And the reason we refer to the Lionsgate in particular is because Leo, as a sign astrologically, is ruled by the sun astrologically, and the sun is identified as the Son of God. S-U-N, not to be confused with S-O-N. You are thus S-O-N of God. We are all humans, the sons and daughters of God, right? But the Lionsgate ushers in when the sun, S-U-N of God, amplifies its light on the whole of humanity for the year ahead and charges up humanity with the light of the Son of God and all of its power for the year ahead. So the Lionsgate, which happens specifically on 8/8, when it is most intense, because that is what we'll talk about in a moment, a portal and a Stargate. When that happens, that means this is the time of the year, the one day of the year where the Son of God is infusing you, the Son, S-O-N, of God, with the most amount of power and energy for the whole year ahead from this date for the following date until August 8th. So this year, from 8/8 to 8/8 of next year, you're being charged with this energy, infused with the light of the Son of God. What that means then is, particularly on the 8/8, your manifestation power, your ability to create, to become more conscious, to elevate, to step into a new level of mastery, leadership, and authority in your life. And if you're in my audience, that is important to you. You have a big mission, right? You have something to offer into this world that you know is valuable and relevant and important and helpful. You're service-oriented, right? So the light of the Son of God on a day that you are being charged and infused as the Son of God, S-O-N, of God, you're being charged and infused with incredible power for the year ahead of you as a creator on earth. And in this year, Year of the Dragon, you are being elevated, if you choose to consciously consent, to a whole new level of leadership and mastery, to a whole new level of your own personal power and authority. And in this 8-year, it's asking you, who is your authority? Who do you give your power, consent, and authority to? So you can see how now the forces of the so-called universe are all colliding on this issue, right? Together, and they're all amplifying. Your dragon wants you to become more masterful, more conscious, more elevated, more of a leader in your own life. The year 8 wants you to become your authority and align with your true authority, which is the divine, the infinite, the source, God, creator, all that is, right? The omniscient, the infinite, on and on, right? Mother, Father, Spirit, however you personally identify to your unique connection with your divine source, right? And then we've got this Lionsgate that's saying, hey, I've got this one particular purpose during this window, which is the window of Leo, the astrological sign of Leo, which reaches its peak on the 8/8 Lionsgate, the day that Leo is in its peak. Now, let's talk about the portal and the Stargate. And I want to, of course, talk about the DNA. So a portal and a Stargate, this is both. Sometimes it's just a portal. Sometimes it's just a Stargate. You've got here a 888 because we're on August 8th, 2024, which is 888. That's a triple Stargate portal. And it's the Lionsgate portal. So a portal in this physical world that we live in is when the universe and the multiverse potentially align to create a pure, let's call it a channel, but a portal, energetic portal, like a doorway, a window, a channel of pure frequency, light, sound, consciousness, vibration. And so when that portal comes, sort of opens, it's literally like other realms in our universe and potentially beyond our universe into other multiverses, potentially, we're not entirely sure about that, are allowing pure energy to come into this third dimensional old paradigm density to bring forward more light, more consciousness, purer energy, purer frequencies to assist humanity and those participating, because we live in a free will choice reality. That's why some people have no idea this is going on, because if they don't choose it, if they're not giving their consent and authority to learn this, if they don't want to, if they don't have an open mind, if they're skeptics and cynics, if they dismiss it, that's their free will choice. But for those of us choosing, we're having an opportunity to elevate, to up level, to advance, to progress, to evolve, and to what we call ascend in the physical world, and to make shifts and changes into what we would call elevated timelines or elevated experiences that are more to our liking. So when you combine that with the Son of God infusing power and potential on us to help us to manifest that which we are uniquely here to create, to collaborate with the divine, the infinite, and combine that with this new energy, pure energy that has not previously been available in the physical world to us. Previously meaning really what I'm hearing even right now, never before ever in this physical earthly plane, that these frequencies are coming in to help us to ascend, to awaken, to progress, to evolve, to advance, and to empower us, to restore humanity's consciousness, because we've been in this dormant state. So this is what a portal is. Now, a Stargate is even, interestingly, Stargates are sometimes can overlap with a portal, but they don't necessarily. This is where we get into the woo-woo. For those of you who know me and know how I channel, that I channel a group of hundreds of beings known as a collective. They come together and they come through, and different ones speak at different times, but they're overall a collective. A sub-collective within my collective is called the fleet. And the fleet are beings who are from other star family races, other star planets, right? And so in the third dimensional reality, we didn't even believe it was real. We didn't know it was real. Do UFOs exist? Do ETs exist? Is there life on other planets? As we ascend and progress and advance, as we move through, especially on Stargate portals, we still stay in Earth. We start shifting into the new paradigm. And of course, we know they exist. It's not just do we believe or don't we? We shift into knowing because we're making real connections with them. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you can have a first contact experience or an experience on board or on ship, because if you're not ready for that, you're not going to have it. But Stargates open that potential. Now, for most people, it just means you start awakening your knowing of your own experience and connection with many of these beings. And because we're working with pure frequencies associated with ascension, evolution, advancement, progression, the light, God, source, creator, this is benevolent. We're not talking about what we call negative aliens in the old paradigm that were like, making abductions and harming people. No, we're talking about star family races who use Stargate portals. And that's not all Stargate portals are, by the way. They're for lots more. We can start to connect with, in a Stargate portal, you can start to connect with things outside and beyond our universe that's known to us. That's what a Stargate portal is. But one of the things is our star family races can connect with us, and they use these portals for that. So if you are interested in knowing more, and if you resonate with this, indigo family race concept, if you resonate with this concept of starseed, if you don't know what those things are, that's okay. You can still, it's a great time to elevate into more of your knowing. And that's what Stargates and portals really help with, because you don't have to learn this stuff through the brain. You start elevating into frequency bandwidths of consciousness where you simply know it as if you knew it all along. You're not really learning through the brain. You become resonant with higher, newer to you, but always like available, right? At a frequency bandwidth, available information that you start becoming attuned to, vibrationally harmonious with, right? Resonant with. So these Stargate portals are fabulous for that. Now, you may think, who needs that and who cares about that? But here's what's amazing. And now I want to get into the DNA a little bit, is that you, as a mission-driven, heart-centered person who has something fabulous to offer, who is becoming more heart-based with your service and contribution, who cares about your students and clients, who cares about your loved ones, who really cares about the world, who cares about what happens to animals, to Mother Earth, etc., Pachamama, Gaia, Sophia, etc. That part of you has untapped potential, gifts, knowledge, wisdom, leadership skills, all kinds of mastery that is lying dormant in your DNA and also in your unconscious, in your energy fields, but especially in your DNA, in the physicality of you, waiting for you to unlock, to activate. When you activate it and unlock it, you don't have to learn it. You become resonant with it. It just starts to turn on. You just know it. Now, Lionsgate portal, in a year of a triple Stargate portal, 888, in the year of an 8, in the year of the dragon, this stuff is going to start triggering what we call two things similar. And I've done podcasts on this, so you might want to go back and listen. It's going to trigger more of the domino effect for humans. That's where things just start, firing off, that more and more people are waking up. It's also more and more triggering what we call the 100th monkey, which we're all working towards. When the 100th monkey happens, we have instant planetary enlightenment, basically. Not everybody might describe it that way. In a lot of senses, 100th monkey is, in a way, has already happened. But 100th monkey, which is a scientific term, done on research about monkeys on an island. You can easily look that up. It's really where everybody just starts doing something that only the first 100 people, a certain number of people, had to learn to do and start doing. That is for the good of all, in this case. That serves the light and the evolution of consciousness, in this case. And then everybody starts doing it, right? Just, you can look up that 100th monkey effect. But these kinds of Stargate portals, triple Stargate portal in a year of mastery, such as this one, it's big. So the idea of activating your DNA then on such a day is a tremendous opportunity to, and also utilizing, gifts and talents of manifesting. So I've been leading manifestation and healing circles for over, as I said, like over 15 years. And I started them with just a few people living in Maui in a small little circle, because I started noticing how doing DNA activations was not only making me stronger and healthier and healing like parts of my physicality, like I healed my own thyroid and I healed eyesight, I restored it to 20/20 vision. And I saw how my animals were jumping like huge walls and things that they had incredible energy. So then I started doing it in very small circles with people back then, where I was just like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's just play with this. And then you just tell me what you're feeling. And they were giving me incredible feedback. In the early days, they'd get like a whole book written in 24 hours or in a weekend, that they couldn't get themselves to sit down and write their book. And then boom, they did it. Or I remember one woman, she told me this incredible story, how she, after doing the DNA activations, she felt that she had turned on like her love interest and they just met. Like so many amazing things, right? This is what I'm saying. Your greatest potential, your greatest gifts, the gifts that you're here to bring through into this world are stored up in your dormant DNA. Science knows you have to, at least that they've already identified 10 strands of dormant DNA. They don't know what it's good for. They're researching it. They've recently, in the last couple of years, found 4 new codons in there. That's because of all these activations that we're anchoring in, right? So science finds it after we activate and awaken enough of it, it turns on in the physical world. I hope this is making sense and landing, because I get that it's out there. I get it. But I'm asking you to consider that your dormant DNA has all the solutions you've been looking for in your life, in your business, in your career, with regard to your unique mission, all your talents and abilities. And I know that it doesn't happen overnight and it's not a pill, like that's not ever what it was, but I know that it happens really fast and really effortlessly and really gracefully and always for your most benevolent best. So with that said, we do DNA activations every year on the Lionsgate portal. I've been doing them for over 15 years, and I'm inviting you to join us. And of course, I will put the link below, but it's on my website at lorispagna.com under the live events. It'll say speed activations, dormant DNA activations. Log in and register and join us. That link is live right now. And if by the time you're listening to this, the rate has gone up, do it right away, because the rate does go up. It's right now an early bird rate. I want to say that as I said, I've been doing those for over 15 years. Every year for over 15 years, over 85% of the people who join us are people who come back over and over and over again. Why? Because it's that good. Because you can only turn on so much, activate so much DNA at one time. Because your body, you can only handle so much so fast. You don't become like a powerhouse overnight. And anyone who has spent a long time building a business or a career, you know that, especially solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, it takes a long time. Okay, DNA activations don't take a long time. You can only do as much as you can handle any one time. Then you do more. And every activation is new. Every activation is different. And of course, I'm always channeling the collective, the fleet, various beings who have lots of information and consciousness to share with us about the direction for humanity, about what's going to be happening. So we gain all kinds of information and insight about the trajectory for humanity, what we're doing, what's going on. This is where so much of this information comes from, right? Because it's coming from within and through in service to all of us. For those of you who might not know me, I just want to say I really have dedicated my life to the best of my ability to serve the light, to serve humanity's evolution, to serve my role in God's plan of light of creation in accordance with what that role is. So what I bring through, it's definitely very, very big. It's definitely very progressive. It's definitely really out there. It's definitely not mainstream teachings. I've always loved that I could extract information from the unknown, from what was previously unknowable, and bring it into the known world to help people, because I'm interested in what's new, what's all new, not something I can read in a book that's been regurgitated over the last gazillions of years, right? So that's what this is. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope it makes sense. We are in the middle of Year of the Dragon, an 8-year, and we are in the next couple of days, as I record this, starting and opening at the Lionsgate for this year, this calendar year, and 888 will be the only true triple Stargate, Master Stargate, Lionsgate portal. It's a doozy. Yeah. So, and I will do a part 2 of this, I hope. If not, I might just cover it during the live call, but I do want to share a lot about what we're going to be seeing in the balance of this year and in the years ahead, because it's happening. It's on. The shift is happening, and this is real. And you can still see sort of the division between the two, but the light is gaining so much power and traction. It's amazing. We're all elevating as we choose it, and these windows of time are magnificent for it. I just want to close this show with one last story. The other day I was in my prayer group. I do a prayer group. I do really love and enjoy the energy and the opportunity to just be in that space where I'm not really, I'm just in communion, right? And I love it in a group dynamic. And at the end, one of the women said to me, I understand that she was in a way like triggered, but she said, you're just so big. You're just so big, and you're just so, and she wasn't really saying it in the most kind way, although she might have thought she was. I think she thought she was saying it in a helpful way. You have so much force. And I said to her, well, that's not me. That's the light of the divine coming through me. And I think she had to pause and stop and reflect, because that's what happens when you start working with this energy. It doesn't mean you have to be big or forceful. It means you're going to be powerful in a good way that serves the light, that serves your love, your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment, your service and contribution to others, to earth, to humanity, to the divine. And your service and contribution, whether it's through your business, your not-for-profit organization, however you're serving and contributing, that light is going to infuse more and more in you and through you. It's going to positively uplift you, and it's going to affect others around you. And then it will be up to them whether or not they see it in a positive way, but you're going to be the magnificence that you truly are, the brilliance that you are, that you're here to bring through. And you will, by default, be in love with yourself. You will get past and through so many other obstacles and roadblocks on earth that other people don't know that they can. You'll start to navigate with so much more effortless grace and elegance. It's so good. Yes, it is that good. And you will come up with solutions to whatever issues are in your life or the lives of others that you didn't even see or realize that you could bring through. That's all waiting for you in your dormant DNA. It is up to you to unlock it and awaken it. It is up to you. The frequencies of light that we work with and the unique way that we do it, you will learn it. Those calls, by the way, they're typically almost about 3 hours, but there's a teaching part first, and there's a lot of channeling. There's always a break, and then there's the meditative part, which is the second part where we're doing the DNA activations and other activations we do as well. So I hope you will join us. Again, it's at lauriespagna.com under the live events tab, under DNA activations, speed activations, sacred key code activations, star code marking activations. We do it all. You will love it and hugely benefit from it. Your team will prosper. Your team, meaning your higher consciousness and all the beings that work with you to help you better in the known physical world. Your business will benefit. Your loved ones, by the way, we always include our children and our animals too, so they will also benefit. We work with the DNA lineage, which means the bloodlines, so your descendants and ascendants will also benefit in ways. It is astounding how much good we can do when we come together and work in harmony and union with our source. And we use these kind of appointed moments in time and space to come together and unify for these kinds of purposes. So with that said, I'm going to wrap for now. I hope you will join me for the upcoming Lionsgate Stargate triple portal on 8/8/8, August 8th of this year. I will see you then. Look for the link to register and join us in the show notes. Until next time, you magnificent, fabulous being, I am signing off and sending you so much love. I wish you your most benevolent best. Farewell for now. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening today. If you loved the show and if you benefited in any way, if it helped you to up level or expand your consciousness, if you gained any new insights or ideas, if it made you think or become more aware, or if there were some strategies or intuition that you may have benefited from in any way, would you please do me two easy and simple favors? First, if you would be willing to leave a review, it would mean the world to me. I'd be so grateful. And second, if you're willing to share this show with anyone else who would benefit, you can either post it on your social media or just email it to someone and share it with another person or any other people. It would be so awesome. This kind of thing is so helpful in expanding consciousness on the planet and helping others to benefit from this kind of teaching, which just simply isn't generally readily available in the mainstream. So sharing it really helps others benefit and helps our planet evolve and awaken. Plus, expressing gratitude and generosity in this way will also expand your capacity to give and receive even more. Either way, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for participating and for sharing, and overall, just for being the magnificent, the spectacular, the brilliant, the fabulous, the wonderful you that you truly are, and for allowing yourself to be the very best version of you today and every day. All my love and gratitude to you.